Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of The Hard Choice, Simple Steps for Showing Up. My name is Brad Draper. I am your host. I am grateful to be with you today. I'm actually going to be recording this episode and the next episode back to back because they're fairly recent situations, fairly recent experiences that have so much impact and so much learning for you and for I. It was really cool to have these experiences in my world and to have this mind shift. If you pay attention, you see these mind shifts. And I have more recently mentioned so many of my learnings have come from when I journal these experiences, when I reflect on these experiences. And the more I reflect, the more I extract the lessons therein. How often do you go through experiences and extract lessons? What can I learn from this experience? What am I missing from this experience that will further me down the road? How has this experience blessed my life? How has this experience impacted me for the better? Questions such like that. It's kind of fun. I am joined in the studio by my two littles. They're currently 5 and 3 laying underneath a bed. While I record this, I told them they had to be very, very quiet if they're in here. So we'll see how well they do. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. We're going to find out. Either way, earlier this week, I went to a concert. I love concerts, and I have not really gone to very many, primarily because the financial position we're in. We're building companies. We're putting everything on the line to move those companies forward. And I say that with plurality. And it's been a wild ride, but every once in a while, it is important to still live. Though you are growing, whatever you're growing, your family, your business, your company, your position in your business, trying to move up a corporate ladder, whatever it might be sure to have fun along the way. The things you enjoy doing, make sure you still do them. My wife is very, very, very good at ensuring this takes place. She's very good at reminding me to go to concerts, to do things with my friends, to go shooting, to go do things that I probably otherwise would not do on my own or would forget about because I'm so just laser focused in what we're doing. And I'm grateful for her for that. But went to this concert. This concert, for those that know the band, August Burns Red. I love metal. If you didn't know that about me, I'm a metalhead. I listen to fairly heavy, not terribly, not black goth metal, not death metal, but I do listen to fairly heavy stuff. And August Burns Red is a fantastic band. They're extremely talented and very, very fun. So my wife encouraged myself and my brother to go. So we went. And when we got there fairly early because there is a particular spot in the audience that I like to stand. I'm far past the age of mosh pitting and being in the mosh pits and thrash dancing. I used to do that 20 years ago. I no longer do that now. I don't recover as fast and it's not as fun. I just like to watch the show, listen to the music and feel the music of the show and then dance and sing and have a great time. But I like to be right in front of the audio visual booth where they have all the sliders and the mixers and the headphones. I like to be right there because I like to lean against the fence and have a backrest, have an armrest, and I'm just comfortable. So while we were there was a chair next to us, which is very unusual for a general admission at a concert. And I got my little one. He's watching the camera from behind like a little audio visual nerd. It's awesome. Distractions. This chair next to me is very odd. And I noticed there was this elderly gentleman that did not move very well walking with a cane and two people with him. One was clearly a security guard, like management security, and then somebody else. And they walked him over to the chair. Now, these bands, I'm not super intimate on each individual member of the band and what they look like and what their names are. I just love the music. And they walked this elderly gentleman over and they sat him down and one guy walked away. And then the other man, the non-security man, said, well, Scorps, if you need anything, We will get you. We have security coming periodically to check in on you to make sure if you need to go to the bathroom or if you need concessions or if you need anything during the show, we got you covered. And I looked to him and I said, don't worry about security coming. We will take care of him for the rest of the show. We will stand with him. We'll ensure he's handled. And security leaned over and said, are you sure? And this gentleman said, are you sure? I said, absolutely. We will have him from here on out. You do not need to worry about him. And we proceeded to do that. His name is Frank. I won't say his whole name for ease on his part. Animosity stuck in my head. It's not that word. Man, whatever that word is. I have a brain fart. Anyway, we'll bypass that. Just to protect his identity. His name's Frank. And he said, my name is Frank, and he's wearing a veteran's hat. He served in the Korean War in 1966. He was born in 1945 on the day that World War III, we're about to be in a World War III, aren't we? World War II ended. And he recollected he's been seeing concerts since the early to mid 70s, maybe even the 60s. And he's been a metalhead his whole life. And he has seen August Burns Red 34 times in 31 states. He flew in from Wisconsin to see this concert in Salt Lake City. He came for no other reason to see them. He's 80 years old. He was born in 1945. He can barely move, and he traveled by himself to Salt Lake City to see a concert. And I watched him enjoy the music. I watched him engage and interact with the fans. I watched him live life. And here is the lesson lesson number one that I learned from Frank. Don't stop living. Don't let things get in the way because you choose them to be in your way. This is a man that is 80 years old that can barely move. Who knows what his financial means are, but he had a stroke last year. He's got a bunch of doctor's appointments through the VA. He has every reason to basically be a hermit. He has every reason to never fly on a plane by himself ever again. He's got every reason to not be in a metal concert in general admission next to the mosh pit. He has every reason to not be in the situation he was in and experience the experiences that he had experienced. It's a lot of words of experience, isn't it? He had all the reasons in the world, yet he was still there. He was there because he wanted to be. Because he loves seeing this band. This is his favorite band. And in fact, he was asking us what the tour schedule was because he's never been to Boston and asked if they were going to Boston and if they're going to come to his hometown in Wisconsin and checking the rest of their tour to see if there's other states he has not yet been to. He's been to 34 states or 31 different states to see this band. And he wants to see them in all 50 states if they ever were to tour to Alaska or Hawaii. But it may just be the lower 48. This is a man that lives life on his own terms. This is a man that does not allow excuse to get in the way from doing the things that he wants. This is a man that simply loves life. He made little business cards and they were little sayings from their lyrics and he was handing them out to everyone. And he had a t-shirt that he had made with some of their lyrics on it. He made it himself. And he had all these little VIP badges for himself to wear at the concert. And it was so cute and so awesome to watch. And then as the concert progressed, first band went, he tried to stand up. He tried to watch. And he stood up for about 5 seconds and then asked for help to be sat back down. He couldn't stay up, especially with people jumping around and moshing around him and dancing. It was a fairly packed crowd. And then the mosh pits opened and we had some drunk people by us. So I was protecting him in his chair while these people being around him drunk were not standing up the most straight. And he kind of pressed himself against this fence. And I thought, surely there's something we can do. And here comes lesson number 2. I looked up to VIP and saw about half of those tables and chairs were sold. I said, surely security can do something for this man. So I walked up to security and I said the story of Frank, how he's followed the band. Oh, by the way, that man that walked him out, the man that was not security, that's the drummer for August Burns Red, Matt Breimer. The drummer himself for the band walked Frank to his chair and ensured that he was taken care of. And I mentioned that Matt brought him out. He's a personal friend of the band members. That's how many times he's been seeing this band. He's now personal friends with them. And that security guard directed me to another security guard, which directed me to upper management. And then after a few conversations and about 10 minutes worth of communicating and traveling to different people, we had a chair in VIP for Sir Frank. And we brought him into VIP and said, this is your spot for the rest of the night. You have a perfect view of the stage. You do not need to stand, and you can enjoy the concert that you came to see. How often are we afraid to do something purely out of fear of the result that we don't know is coming, out of unknown situations to arise? I could have gone to the security guard and he could have flat out said no. We had a plan B for that. If he flat out said no, I would talk to a few more people. If need be, we were going to buy Frank's ticket to VIP. We were going to upgrade his ticket for him. We had a plan beyond the plan. Ask for help, ask for approval, get a seat. And if that's not the case, we will just buy our way in. We were getting Frank to that seat no matter what, because we wanted to bless him and have him have the best experience he can as his first time in Salt Lake City seeing his favorite band. How often are you afraid to have the conversation with management to see what they can do to bless somebody else? I wasn't seeking for a chair for myself, but I was seeking it for another. Think about that in your life. Lesson number 2, how often do you have the conversation? Talk to the people that can make a decision and have a conversation. You'll be amazed what they're willing to do for you. After all, that chair is just sitting there. Nobody's going to use it. Whether Frank sits in it or not is of no regard. The money is remaining the same. And then here comes lesson number 3. I went to Frank and he said, I need to leave halfway through their set. I got to get back to my hotel room. I said, okay, what time do you need to leave? He said, 9:45, quarter to 10. I said, perfect. So what time is it now? I said, it's 9:05 now. I said, okay. I will see you at 9:45. I will come back up here to VIP and I will help you down these stairs and I will get you outside to the taxi. And watched my watch, headed up at 9:45. It was actually 9:42 when he started standing, and we ushered him out. Security was very taken back that we said, we have him. We will handle him from here. You do not need to worry. And they assured several times that we would take care of him. And I said, yes, we will. We walked him to the front door. They had security call him a cab. And he said, you can go back inside, you can go watch the show. I said, I can hear the show just fine from here. We were only about 20 yards from the stage, just to a room to the side. I said, I can hear the show just fine from right here. I don't need to see them to experience them. And I told Matt that I would be with you all the way to the end of the show. And that ends when you get in that cab, not when you walk out of the room. We got him a cab, and the cab was stopped by security at the gate to come in. So my brother ran out to security, explained the situation, and had them allow the taxi cab to come in so we didn't have to walk Frank all the way out there across the parking lot. So here came the cab, all the way down, front row, front and center, pick him up at the door. We helped him in the car or in the taxi, and on was his way. That is when my duty and my obligation that I promised to Matt with my word ended. Well, in fact, I'll correct that. It ended the next morning when I reported to Matt. I reported that we took care of him. I reported that we put him in VIP and allowed him to have the best experience possible. I reported that we got him a cab and we sent him on his way. And lo and behold, Matt responded, graciously thanking me for returning and reporting. Lesson number 1, live life on your terms. Don't make excuses, health, finances, whatever you can come up with to prevent you from doing the things you want to do. Number 2, have the conversation. It's just one conversation away from doing things to unlock everything you've ever wanted. And number 3, keep your commitments. I told Matt I would watch Frank the rest of the night. I made sure Frank was taken care of until he left the property, because I'm an honorable person and I'm honorable with my word. And then I returned and reported the result of the situation. Take these 3 lessons with you. Run with them, learn from them, grow with them, share them with your friends and your family. Share this episode with your friends and family. Have a conversation with me. Leave me a review. As always, on social, I'm Mr. Brad Draper. Like this thing, subscribe to it, download it for future listenings. Until next week, I love you guys. Bye.